Ja Morant has been causing so much drama this week after flashing a gun when he was live on IG, and punching and pointing a gun at a 17-year-old, beating up a mall security, pointing a red laser, and possibly a gun at the Pacers staff. And this is getting out of hand.
Round series, Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker! Morant blows by Primo. Attack! Oh! Shot blocked. Melton with the rejection. Melton, alley-oop to Morant!
It all started when Ja Morant got drafted to the Memphis Grizzlies as the second pick of the 2019 draft. Ja just came off from Murray State averaging 24, 6 and 10 a game during Ja's rookie season. He was showing flashes of a future NBA superstar, which led to Ja winning Rookie of the Year, but some would argue he only won it because Zion Williamson was injured for most of the season, and the bubble happened. And the Grizzlies ended up getting knocked off by Portland in the play-in.
Anthony for three. Bang! Carmelo Anthony. And that'll do it. The Portland Trail Blazers are in the 2020 postseason. They'll face the Lakers on Tuesday.
Even if they lost, there is still a lot of potential for this Grizzlies team to be a championship contender. Then in the 2020-21 season they ended up as the 9th seed and are back in the play-in tournament. They then had to face the Warriors in the play-in tournament, in which they survived thanks to Morant's performance.
Makes his move, spins in the paint, turns, puts it up, puts it in! Ja Morant knocks it down! It's a 5-point game with 4.5 remaining!
They then faced Utah in the first round as the 8th seed and lost in 5.
And they're on their way to the second round.
And in the offseason the Grizzlies signed Steven Adams and led them in the second round. But actually the Grizzlies finished second in the West, and 1-6 against Minnesota in the first round of the playoffs.
And that'll do it. The Grizzlies do it again. And they move.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Now against the Warriors they lost in 6 and Klay Thompson dominated them in Game 6 to end their season.
20, Thompson puts it in, and that might be the dagger.
And now this season, by the time of this video, the Grizzlies are currently 3rd in the West and is the most hated team in the league. The reason of why they are hated because of their cockiness. There are tons of examples of this, but I'm only gonna be talking about Morant since he is the reason for this video. During an interview on ESPN, he was asked on which team they have to run through, and he said this.
You look at around the league as you're studying and say, we're gonna have to run through them.
Celtics.
No one in the West.
Nah, I'm fine in the West.
Morant faced tons of backlash from this, and especially after the trade deadline as the West got tougher. He then followed up his previous comments about the West and said, "I don't care, honestly, I said what I said and I mean that, my confidence will never change. I don't care who got something to say about it." And a report came at that last summer, Ja's mother had a dispute with a store employee working at Finish Line, which was a shoe store in a Memphis mall. And Ja's mother called Ja and Ja showed up with 9 other people. They then got into a conflict, and one of those 9 other people pushed the security director in the head. Before leaving the mall, Ja then said to the security guard, "Let me see what time he gets off." And then the guard interpreted it as a threat and reported it to the police. Luckily for Ja, no arrest was made. And then for days after that incident, it was reported that Morant repeatedly punched a 17-year-old during a pickup game at his house. That was because the kid threw the ball at Morant so hard it hit him, and Morant asked his friend if he should beat him up, and when his friend said yes, they both proceeded to do so. After that, Morant went inside his house and came back with a gun in his pants. And then the kid said that he would come back and light this place up like fireworks. And then against the Pacers, during the game there was an altercation between the players, and after the game Morant and his friend that also helped him beat the kid up were in a black SUV and pointed a red laser at the Pacers players and staff that were passing by. The NBA was still investigating whether or not a firearm was involved in that laser. Well, while investigating, Morant somehow had the awareness of turtle and decided to do a finger gun celebration during a game. Well, to make matters worse, he pulled out a gun at a strip club in Colorado after a team lost to Denver. Imagine being Ja Morant's lawyer right now trying to defend him for a use of a fire gun, and then your client proceeds to do this publicly. Since this was a road game for the Grizzlies, the NBA is currently investigating if he brought a fire gun to the team plane, because he could serve a 50-game suspension if he did bring one. But I doubt it, as the commissioner is so player-friendly that he might just let it slide. Because if Ja continues to be a part of scandalous activities that mainly involve a firearm, it could affect his career and ruin all the time he built in order to be in the NBA. Ja needs to find the right people to be around his surroundings, as it might affect his lifestyle, but hey, that's his decision and not mine.